More than 93% of the available lands in the Greater Chaco region have already been leased out for oil and gas extraction. We are fighting for the last 7%. The Greater Chaco region is the ancestral homelands of the Pueblo and Diné Indigenous peoples of the Southwest. The Chaco Culture National Historical Park is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and the home of ancestral Pueblo kivas and dwellings. Pueblo people maintain a living and spiritual connection to the landscape, and the Navajo communities live within the region. Despite rising opposition from sovereign tribal nations and environmental groups, and even in the face of a global health crisis, the Bureau of Land Management continues to approve fracking operations in the region and are now moving forward with the approval of thousands of new fracking wells within the Greater Chaco landscape. Indigenous peoples particularly are being hit the hardest by the coronavirus pandemic. In the midst of this public health crisis, the Bureau of Land Management is still continuing to sell off federally managed land parcels for extraction, and they are also refusing to extend its public comment period for a major new drilling plan in the Greater Chaco region. Frontline communities face threats to their health and well-being, while the United States' historic failure to respect tribal sovereignty is an everyday reality. Since 2014, the Greater Chaco Coalition has been leading efforts to educate their communities and share the impacts of oil and gas activities.
The Fracking is a Fracking reality tour. It's a glimpse of the oil drilling that's happening in the counselor community. It was started by Daniel So, and he's given this tour for a few years now. And it's meant to show you firsthand the cumulative impacts of fracking. There's all sorts of people that come on this tour. There's people wanting to lend their support, but they don't know how. And so when you show them the firsthand impacts, it makes a difference on how they respond to the issue.
I have a 6-year-old grandson. I want him to be able to breathe clean air, drink clean water. I want him to know that it came times to where we spoke up, and I want him to know that I did speak up and fought on his behalf. Yeah, there is a lot more work to do. It will continue for however long until we completely stop. The fossil fuel extraction to where we can actually say that we no longer rely on it. We have different forms, things that we need to do and use. So.
It's good to be here at Washbashaka. Thank you to the leadership from Washington, D.C. for being with us and to listening to our concerns. But for today, really the biggest and greatest opportunity today is to be here, to have my footprints where my ancestors laid theirs, and where we continue to visit. We will continue to visit Chaco. We will continue to rely on all that is available to us as Acoma people and Pueblo people. All that is provided within this vast landscape of Chaco remains vital to our continuance as Pueblo people. And I am grateful to the tribal leadership who are here today. And we will continue to work together on not only this issue, but similar issues that we are confronted with. And I want the leadership at Washington to understand, as these conversations continue, and as we voice the same concerns, and find ourselves compelled to share more about why these spaces and places are sacred, and why it is important for us to continue to speak and to be at the table, is because there is so much at stake. We are still uncertain about issues related to quality of water, air, the encroachment on our ancestral landscapes, and the direct infringement upon our ability to carry out our inherent responsibility of maintaining culture and our own lifeway. Thank you for this opportunity again. Tawa e hopa, shkuunama. Ta hopa tru oishat.
I'm so pleased that I feel like this fight to keep fracking out of Chaco Canyon has brought the Pueblos together. It's brought the Pueblos and the Navajo Nation together. All the communities who share this beautiful land of New Mexico, they've all come together to work toward protecting this area. We're going to collaborate, and we're going to make sure that we're working hard to protect this beautiful landscape, this living landscape.
Being here, it definitely summons a lot of emotions. I definitely don't like to call them ruins because even though like there may not be people physically living here, like inside these rooms, there's still spirits and ancestors here occupying this space. And this is also a place where a lot of people today, Indigenous people, Pueblo people, still find like their ways back here somewhere or another. You can't call this place like abandoned or an ancient place where it's still very much alive. And then just not to mention that there are actual people, the Diné people living like outside of this area. One wonderful thing for Indigenous people that has come out of this Chaco Coalition is the Diné and Pueblo solidarity. It's interesting because at one point in our histories, there was definite tension and even this adversarial tension between Pueblo and Diné people. And in this moment in time, that old historic beef, so to speak, has totally been squashed. These struggles are a matter of life and death. It is our cultures, it is our families, it is literally our survival that is at stake.